Let me ask you a question. What emotions do you experience when you go and visit a store that you've been to hundreds of times before, but they're now remodeling the store and things are being moved around? Are you excited? Are you anxious? Do you feel overwhelmed? What emotions are you experiencing? I'm going to share my recent experience going into a local store I've been into hundreds of times that is now in the beginning of a remodel. Hey, Define Yourselfers. I am the confident autistic. You can call me Chris. On this channel, I create videos and more that will help you better understand autism, connect you with resources that can help you through your autistic journey, and I share my life as a late diagnosed autistic adult. And this is another video in the series, The Confident Autistic Journal. The Confident Autistic Journal is my video blog of my life as a late diagnosed autistic adult. Today, I'm going to share with you my recent trip to Target. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, or if you're new here, you're going to hear this for the first time. I don't like getting out of the house that much. I prefer to be alone by myself, and I'm fine with that. But I do make myself go into town at least once a month. And this month, I chose the trip I would take would be to my local Target. So I arranged my ride on the paratransit system because I don't drive for many reasons, including uh, a physical disability, visual impairment, and there is so much sensory going on around me as I drive. I would get distracted by my ADHD, and it would just be too overwhelming for my autism. So I arranged my paratransit. It came, picked me up. We went out to Target, and the first thing we noticed when we pulled into the parking lot, the driver pointed out to me, "Wow, they got a lot of storage bins alongside the parking lot, and the signs off the front of the building." And I saw this big machine that they would use to take down or put up the big sign on the top of the building. And that's when I first realized this store is going through a remodel. Now, I knew the signs of a remodel because the Target in my community had been remodeled, I think, once before. And then when I lived in California, the Target I would visit frequently also went through a remodel. So I was very familiar with the signs. So although, yeah, there's going to be changes inside, that the signs that I saw in the parking lot, the big storage bins and the big machinery told me there's going to be a remodel. So that gave me a few moments to prepare that I'm going to be going into a remodel zone and be ready to expect some changes and we'll have to do things differently. So I got off the bus, and the first thing I went through those double doors. You ever been to Target? You know what I'm talking about. They have the outer doors. They open up the little area inside. Another door opens up, and you go into the building. Now, usually this is very empty. Maybe a sign in this says we're hiring or Christmas hours or whatever. But this time, the four scooters the store had are now sitting in this outer area, which is fine because I use a scooter to get around the store. So I went, okay, this is different. All right, I can handle this. Scooter's here. All right, they were set up. I can easily get onto it. They would, so I got into the scooter and I scooted into the store. Now the first thing I saw was on my left-hand side was guest service, which I don't know why they call it guest service because guest service is singular. Okay, but they do many services there. They do returns, they do changes, they do pickups. They used to let you pay your bill there. You can even check out there. Okay, so I think it should be called guest services. Now they've been calling guest services pretty much since I worked there in the late 1980s, and I've always questioned why do you call it guest service? Shouldn't it be services because there's more than one thing you do here? But that never really went up the food chain at Target. Anyway, so they changed that up. And now this is the part parents are going to love. Okay. All right. Parents are going to love this because in front, when you go for the guest service, used to be a big, like, desk, big red thing in front, nothing to look at. You just saw the counter and the person behind it. Now it had lights on it. Okay. And it has candy and all those impulse items. And while you're waiting in line to do your change and you have kids, you're going to hear, "Mommy, I want this. I need this candy bar. I have to have this." Parents are going to love this impulse buying there, okay? They're going to love that. But there's an idea. We're going to have a lot of screaming kids in this section of the store. So while I'm there, the first thing I did is look around because they have an ATM machine there, and I need to get some cash. So I went up to the counter and asked the lady, what do you guys move your ATM machine? I figured it had been moved, being remodeled. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It's out of service right now. Great. I need cash and you don't have an ATM machine. Peachy. So I went ahead and I did my shopping. I came up for plan to get some money out later somewhere else, but fine. So I started scootering through the store. Now the first thing I see is they still keep that that area. I don't know what they call it, but they have stuff for like $1, $2. They're really, I call it the cheap crap zone, okay? Because most of the stuff there is cheap, but they have it there as soon as you walk into the store because it attracts. Now I'm going to get letters, okay? It attracts two types of people: children and women. I can walk by, and I see men come in there. They can walk right by that crap zone because when we go shopping as guys, we have a mission. We're in there for one reason only, or two, whatever. That's it. We don't get distracted by stuff. But women come in there, especially young moms. And again, I know I'm going to get some comments, and that's okay. Go ahead. I'm fine with that. I can handle it. Or kids, oh, mommy, look at this. I got to have this. And they're already spending money the moment they walk in that door. So that area there, but it does not look as well organized as normal, but whatever. So I go around that corner, and now the checkout lanes are ultra bright. They have put new lighting above the checkout lane, so it's brighter. Now I'm assuming so they would have better lighting and viewing of the self checkouts to cut down theft, which I'm okay with because when people steal from the store, who pays for it? Us paying customers. So I'm all for cutting down theft. But it's really bright and it's like too much light. I couldn't handle it. But I moved on past there and I started doing a big circle around the store I need to kill some time before my bus came back. And so I went through the store, and as I was going through the store, now on before the remodel, they would have these signs hanging down from the ceiling that would say um, home and um, clothing, women clothing, toys, electronics, those kind of things. They're not done all of them. They're starting to replace them instead of cardboard ones with electronic ones that light up. Now, that, although it's a little bit overstimulating because it's more light, the ADHD side of me said, oh, cool, more electronic, more lights and signs to read. Okay, I'm like, the light bothers me. I'm attracted to light like a moth is to a light bulb at times. Okay, I'm horrible. I am. So I saw that and I went, oh, okay, cool. And all through the big aisles, the big center aisles, they have these signs. They say this way, and then a list of stuff in the bottom part says that way, pointing the other direction. It says where those things are. So it was really well labeled to help you find stuff. Now, I believe my stores at the beginning of the remodel because most things are where they used to be. So that was comforting. But I knew change was coming. So I kept going through the store and looking around and went, wow, this is missing. This is different. and I noticed some of the floor had been changed. They're putting in new flooring in some areas. They're putting in carpeting in areas that used to not have any carpeting. So, like, wow, this is going to be interesting when it's done. So I'm kind of excited about it. But at the same time, I'm anxious because now I can't find anything. I don't know where stuff is. No. And I like going into the store and I usually have my headphones on. Not these. I have a Bluetooth ones. And listening to my music and going exactly where I need to go, get the items I need, get out because I know where things are. Now it's going to be a challenge. This is going to cause me some anxiety. Okay. Can't find stuff, which means I got to do one or two things. Option number one, I have to talk to somebody who works there. Now, the Target people are not bad to talk to, okay? I just don't like starting conversations or talking to strangers, okay? Not real big on that, okay? And I'm not big on asking for help. That's something I've struggled with all my life, and I'm just not good at it. Or I'm going to have to use the Target app which is wonderful. And type in what item I want. They tell me what aisle is in it. You look at the map, it shows you if it's towards the left end of the aisle, right end of the aisle, the center, halfway to the center, wherever. So it really helps a lot. But now my fear is this. While it's in the remodel, how accurate is that app going to be until they get done with the remodel? So, you know what? I'm going to go and do run and dones. From until this is done, I'm going to just run and done. I have it all picked up, waiting for me at the counter. I'll come in and get that. So I go through the store and stuff being moved around. It's not that cluttered. It's nice, but a lot of things, like I said, are still where they were. So I think they're near the beginning of the remodel. And I finally decided I want to look for a raincoat because I need a new raincoat. Okay. One I have had is over 20 years old. I don't want to let go of it because of the mesh lining inside. And when I'm really stressed out, I don't wear a shirt. I put that on, and that is so comforting. Do you have a favorite item like that that you can wear that's so comforting and soothing? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, so I want to go find that. And then the clothing department is like, I don't even know where the clothing department is because it's like little bits here, a little bit there. I thought I could ask somebody, but I was so anxious and overwhelmed by all the changes. I was not really able to want to communicate with somebody who worked there. So I worked my way to the front of the store and I went through the checkout. I was able to talk to I went through a regular checkout. I got myself a Pepsi. Okay, I thought, I got an idea. I'll get myself a Pepsi and maybe they'll let me get cash back from the when I check out. So I went to the cash register and I asked her if I could do that. She said, "Oh yeah, you could do that." Super. I can get my cash back and I got a Pepsi, which I probably should not have, but I wanted it. So I got my cash back and all. And then I went across from the cash registers where Pizza Hut used to be. Pizza Hut's gone. And I was looking forward to going to Target, and part of my outing was to get a pizza and a Pepsi. That was going to be my reward for getting out of the house. No Pizza Hut, no Starbucks. Now that does not bother me because I'm not a coffee drinker. I know it's going to drive a lot of people who oh my gosh, no coffee. If there's just some way in the 21st century we can make coffee at our own homes. I don't know, maybe with a device that somebody could invent and maybe they could call it so it's easy to remember, Mr. Coffee. Sheesh. I don't know. So I left the store. I went, called paratransit so they picked me up and take me home. And I sat there for about 45 minutes or so until the bus came, which not unusual. And drank my Pepsi and all, and watched people go in and out of the store, including the workers who were taking stuff out of the store and bringing stuff in. And one was really interesting to me, okay? So there's this flatbed, okay? Big flatbed, all right? Had a handle on it, and the guy's pulling it behind him to wheel it out, whatever he's taking out. On top of this, and let a member say, hand to God, he had two pieces of cardboard. Really? You can't carry that in your arm? I said, I'm going to go carry the cardboard out. But no, I'm going to use a flatbed. So I thought, why is he doing this? I don't know. Couldn't he carry it up? I thought, well, maybe he's going to bring something in heavy that he needs a flatbed for. Okay, I get that. He comes back 5 minutes later, with the flatbed, nothing on it. I don't get it. I don't know. It's just me. So that was my experience going to Target. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the changes in the store, anxious about how it's going to look. And the ADHD side of me is excited that it's going to have a new layout, going to have new brighter lights and colors and stuff for me to look at and explore. And I'm wondering, what's it going to look like at the end? So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm excited about what the outcome can be. But yet I'm also anxious and worried about where am I going to find stuff? I kind of memorized this store. One of the reasons I shop at Target a lot, I also shop at Walmart. But Target, I think, is a little better about this. Wherever you go in the country, every store is pretty much laid out the same, which is cool. So if I'm out of town and I need to go into Walmart, Target, that is, and get a Pepsi, I have a good idea where to go and find those Pepsis in any store in the country. But now that's going to change. And I'm a little bit nervous. I am. Now, the other thing I noticed in the store, which normally you do not hear in the store, Normally it's pretty quiet unless occasional PA announcements. There was music playing in the store, and that was different for me. I could Target. I never heard them play music at Target during the hours that they're open. Now I used to work at Target, and I would be there after hours, doing some stuff as a card attendant, or get there early in the morning and get set up for the day before the store opened. And we would play music over the PA system, but never during the day during open operating hours. Let me ask you this. How do you feel and or react when you go somewhere that you've been before that is changing? It could be a store. It could be a doctor's office. I mean, it threw me the other day, last month, when I went to my primary care physician. And they have the waiting room in the center, and they have a door on the left and a door on the right. Now, normally I go in to see her on the door on the right. This time they called me in the door on the left. She moved across the hall. That threw me a little bit. Like, okay, but we usually go over there. Why here? Because we moved. Okay, that makes sense. So it could be a store, it could be a doctor's office, it could be somebody's house. How do you feel and or react when you go somewhere that you have been before that is changing? Not in change, but in the process of changing, like my Target is here locally. Share your response in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your community of friends. In the meantime, please check out this video that is coming up on your screen. And until next time, I am the Confident Autistic, reminding you to live confidently autistic.